before, Lee, while we were serving in Mexico. You came over from the Garland's Brigade, to which I then belonged. I've always remembered your appearance, and I should have recognized you anywhere.
Yes, I know I met you on that occasion, and I've often thought of it and how you looked, but I haven't remembered a single feature.
Grant is somewhat stung by this mild insult, but the two men continue to discuss the Mexican War while Grant's staff files in.
I suppose, General Grant, the objective of our meeting is understood. I asked to see you to talk about the condition you would reveal the surrender of our army.
The terms I propose are those as stated in my letter. My terms are that the officers surrender to be paroled. They shall also be disqualified to take up arms again. Arms and supplies are to be tallied up and captured as property.
Those are the conditions I accepted to be proposed.
Yes, I think our correspondence has indicated pretty clearly the action to be taken at our meeting today, and I hope it will lead to a general suspension of hostility and be the means of preventing any further loss of life.
I presume, General Grant, we both have considered the steps that need to be taken. I suggest you start writing the terms you propose so they may be formally acted upon.
Taking his book from Theodore Bowler's, Grant pauses momentarily, then writes out the terms in pencil. As he writes, Grant glances over at the beautiful sword Lee is wearing and decides to make all officers give their sidearms to the Union. It's a generous condition, sparing Lee of the disappointment and embarrassment of losing his sword, as it is the custom. In these circumstances, Grant mentions that the Confederate soldiers are allowed to return to their homes without being tried or harassed by the government. He also allows them to take their horses with them so they can use them to plow fields. When finished, Grant hands the book to Parker, who hands the book to Lee. As Grant had done earlier, Lee seems to stall. Lee sets the book down and takes out his glasses. He slowly cleans them and picks up the book and reads.
These terms will have a positive effect in my army.
Unless you have some terms to change regarding the terms, I will have a copy to sign in the ink.
I have nothing wrong with these terms, and I will gladly sign them.
The book is returned to Grant, who hands it to Boris to copy and ink. Boris is too nervous to comply, however, then Grant passes it to Eli Parker. Parker cannot copy because Boris's ink bottle is thick and dry. Lee sees this and gives ink to them. They copy and ink and sign. Lee has officially surrendered and the Civil War is over, but Lee isn't quite finished.
I have 1,000 of your men as prisoners, Mr. Grant, a number of them being officers who will require to march with us. I will send them into your land when it is arranged. They have been living for the past several days, fed on dried up corn. We are badly in need of food. I have requested food to be sent to us via train. However, they didn't show up. Little does Lee know, Grant and his men captured the same train. He is referring to the night prior. Grant plans to give him the food back to Lee.
I should like to have my men back as soon as possible. I will take the steps to have your men supplied with rations. I'm sorry, but we have nothing for the animals, and we have had to depend on the country to feed our animals. Recently, about how many men does your forces consist of?
I cannot say we have had heavy losses.
Suppose I send over about 25,000 rations. Do you presume that's sufficient enough to feed your army?
I think it would be ample, and will be a great relief. With conditions met, Lee departs the house and descends the steps, and the Union follows. The meeting is now adjourned.